Hello, this is Dr. Hickman with a brief presentation on social and emotional learning. The PDS committee decided to move away from the instructional focus we had during the first semester to looking at social and emotional learning, known as SEL. SEL has been a district initiative in the elementary and middle schools for a few years. The incoming ninth graders are used to learning and thriving in an SEL environment. The PDS committee determined it would be a better use of our time and resources to begin the process of staff development on PDS to prepare not just for the incoming ninth graders, but all the classes that following them as well. In addition, SEL was seen as best practice for holistic teaching and preparing career and college-ready students. Since it's close to the end of the year, I decided to put together a few presentations that staff can access at any time. The State Department of Education has a dedicated website to social and emotional learning with links, resources, and standards. I found it very helpful and will be a go-to resource as Glassboro High School moves forward with its SEL initiatives. So what is SEL? Succinctly put, SEL is the process to explicitly teach students how to acquire and apply knowledge, attitudes, and skills to be able to understand and manage their emotions, to set and reach goals, develop and show empathy, develop, maintain, and sustain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. Some of this occurs at Glassboro High School on a daily basis. An SEL framework, however, provides a formal structure to ensure these components are being explicitly taught across subject areas, departments, and grade levels throughout the building with fidelity. Now, there are 5 components in the SEL cycle. They are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. None of these are presented as a cycle. One does not lead to the other. They are interconnected, although each component is distinct. They work best together as a unit. Now, these do not come in any order of importance, but I will briefly discuss each. First is self-awareness, which is about how well one knows who they are. Do they know their strengths and their weaknesses? Are they conscious of how their feelings of themselves impact their behaviors and decisions? And do they understand the need for self-confidence to address daily tasks and challenges? This is closely related to self-efficacy, which is one's belief in their own abilities. They're related, but not necessarily the same thing. Next is self-management. Are students able to recognize, control, and regulate their emotions, thoughts, and behaviors? Goal setting is a part of self-management. Goals provide students an opportunity to plan and be deliberate in their choices. In addition, self-management is also reflected in one's ability to overcome obstacles. A term that is used in education a lot now is grit. I don't always like that term, and there's some reasons for that we can discuss at another time. Social awareness focuses on empathy, perspectives, and recognizing how someone is part of a larger group. As such, social awareness requires that at a minimum, students acknowledge and respect differences between people in terms of culture, gender, lifestyle, race, opinions, etc. Social awareness is also being able to act differently in different situations and circumstances. Code switching is a good example of this. Students should be explicitly taught how to change their language, inflections, and reactions based on the situation, context, and location of where they are. They must be aware that the way they act with their boys and their girls cannot be the same way that they speak in a job interview or in a doctor's office. They must be able to code switch. When I was teaching, especially when I had African American students, I made sure that I taught them how to do this, and at the same time, I modeled how to do this. So, at times I might slip into African American vernacular English and then be able to switch it into standard boardroom English and would let them know that I was doing those things. So code switching has to be a part of teaching students social awareness. Relationship skills are exactly that: positive communication, effective interactions with others, and problem solving skills. This is key for high school kids, especially in a social media society where the opportunity for conflict is a text, tweet, Snapchat, or Instagram away. Last, a key relationship skill is knowing when, how, where, and to whom to go to get help for oneself or for others. Last, we have responsible decision making. How do we teach students to solve problems and think critically? A part of being a responsible decision maker is being able to predict possible consequences, those that are intended and unintended. Last, can a student be reflective and metacognitive about the decisions they've made and their decision-making process? Now, this slide is a one-pager that's a description of the 5 SEL components that you can find on the Department of Education website that I shared at the start of this video. It goes through each of those 5 components and breaks down exactly what I talked about previously, and there's also a link to where you can find it. So, why should Glassboro High School invest time and resources in the SEL? Well, SEL will help create a safe space for all students, not just physically safe, but also emotionally, socially, and academically. In addition, schools need to consider the affective domain is just as critical as the cognitive domain for effective teaching and learning. A formal SEL framework gives the staff common language, practices to address the various issues that arise when dealing with students. Consistency is the key for a successful school. Last, SEL is a way to help students develop a positive self-image of themselves that is inclusive of their individuality and how they define themselves. At the same time, it gives students the necessary skills to interact with people from other backgrounds and with different beliefs. This slide gives us a visual image of the SEL process. You see the 5 components in the middle that surround the main goal of any school, which is social, emotional, and academic learning. Supporting those efforts are first classroom curriculum and instruction. Beyond that, those things are supported by the school climate, policies, and procedures. And then supporting that is the other area of support for this process, which comes from family and community partnerships. Now, the first encompassing circle in the previous slide was on classroom curriculum and instruction. There are 4 approaches to that, which are, number 1, freestanding lessons, which are individual lessons focused on a particular SEL skill, such as relationship building. Number 2, you have general teaching practices that are pedagogical choices that highlight and teach those skills. An example would be group work and collaboration activities. Next, SEL principles can be integrated into the curriculum through assignments, assessments, and resources, things such as book topics or concepts that teachers are teaching about. Last, social emotional learning can also be a school-wide initiative such as PBIS. Now, in the previous slide, I made mention of SEL being integrated into the curriculum for content areas. As you can see on this slide, SEL can be implemented in all content areas. We can further discuss this as we get more in depth and make other decisions regarding SEL at Glassboro High School. I want to thank you for watching my presentation. Send me an email or stop in my office if you wish to talk any further. As we continue to roll this out, we will have more face-to-face professional development, and I will post more videos as we move forward. Thank you.